All right, so there is this story that when Walt Whitman was asked why he didn't put his name on the cover of the first edition of Leaves of Grass, he is supposed to have said that it would have been like putting a name on the universe, which is cute. But he actually did put a picture of himself on the book. So I guess that's like putting a picture of yourself on the universe. And he did put his name on the later editions. But the reason I had this story in mind is because as I was trying to figure out how do you introduce Ariana Reines, I just kept thinking it's like putting a name on the universe. In interviews, she has a language for discussing the speaking self and the addressed self in ways that are so simple, elegant, and insightful, they would make Althusser blush. And yet, in her work, I hear the prophetic expansion of a speaker whose enlightenment incorporates the entire engine of being. She is a highly celebrated author with Obies for her playwriting and a Kingsley Tufts for her poetry. She is an accomplished translator and continues to be part of the relief effort in Haiti. She's basically done everything before 40 that the rest of us could only manage in about 3 lifetimes. In one interview, she said that her career is precisely as old as YouTube. And of course it is, because she sees through those old dividing lines between private and public, as well as through the new dividing lines of social and personal. She understands something about how we interact in new ways that eschews both nostalgia and utopianism in favor of intersection, interconnection, and imbrication. What she sees is how we fit. What she sees is how we fit together. Ariana Reines' volumes of poetry include The Cow, Coeur de Lion, Mercury, Thursday, Beyond Relief, The Origin of the World, Ramayana, Tiffany's Poems, and A Sand Book. Please welcome Ariana Reines.
Hey. Wow, that was disarming and breathtaking. Can you guys hear me okay? I have this shitty little mic that sometimes doesn't work. Yeah, no? Yeah, you can hear me? Okay. All right.
Everyone's muted.
I know, I'm looking at their sort of like drunken, like, no. No, that was very lively, those nods. Thank you. I'm glad you can hear me. It's so great to read in this most quintessentially New York of all series. And when I think about all the KGB readings that I've attended as an audience member and that I've had the privilege to do, I mean, the whole thing is that you're fucking packed in there. Like, it is really a crowded experience. And I just like wanted to like consciously like remember, like, also the bar stools there are very slippery, and I feel like I just feel like I would like show up and then get very drunk from anxiety from being in the proximity of so many poets. I would instantly get drunk and then be sliding off the bar stool and like could never just stay on. I don't know if anyone else had ever had that experience. I also remember seeing C.A. Conrad read at KGB, and I think that was my first time meeting them, and there was some kind of crazy heckler in the room that night, and I, you know, it was a heckler worthy of Conrad, somebody with a lot of juice. Anyway, so those were all those memories are very special, and it's really a pleasure to be with you guys in this form now. So I will be reading off my screen. I know that's really gauche, but I don't have a printer, and these are desperate times, so I'm sorry for that. And I'm gonna try to do it in such a way that I can see you and what I read at the same time. And I'm gonna read 3 things. I'm gonna read 3 poems, and I'm just gonna prepare you for how this is gonna go. I'm gonna read one thing that I've never read in public anywhere, and it was a commission from this magazine that the students run at CalArts, and they wanted me to talk about edging, which I guess is like a porn thing. And I like try to explain to them that I'm like a real life person, not like a porn person. Like I'm not like, I don't mean, I'm sorry if I should have issued like a trigger warning about that. I just like, I like to do things more than I like to watch them. And so they wanted me to talk about kind of spectatorship. And I was sort of like, well, I can talk about what I do, but I was also in this weird moment of like, I was like super overworked, and I like was like, I felt like I'm like out of juice here. So I like squeezed this thing out, but like I was just like, so I'm gonna read this thing that I'm not sure about it, you know? But they asked me to write about edging, and I was like, well, I'll see what I can do. And so that's number one. So you can go, you know, turn on Looney Tunes for, you know, 4.5 minutes or however long that will be. And then number two, I'm reading chronological order. Then number two, I'm gonna read a poem that I wrote on New Year's Eve, called Alchemy Forever, which I still believe in. And then I'm gonna read you something new. It's probably my newest finished-ish poem, and it sort of concerns an experience of somebody's poetry reading, somebody else, not me, somebody's poetry reading being troll bombed by, a troll bomber. Cool, any questions before we begin? I wish I could hear all of you. It's really the whole point of practicing the art of poetry is that it's not a spectator's art, but oh well.
I have a question.
Yes, I'm listening.
Well, Mike, how's it going?
Hey.
Last time I saw you, we were social distancing on the street.
That is true. That's right. Oh my God, I forgot. I was going to say with Fanny, but no, it was when you spotted me on the first warm day.
Fanny was here in my backyard today and says hello.
Hi.
Listen, my students have finished the semester, but will they be able to watch this after the fact? Can I send them a link to this?
Yes. We do record them, and the link will be available, so give us a couple weeks, but then email me or email Lori. And my email is jschneiderman@gmail.com.
Thanks a lot.
Any other questions or personal confessions, burning passions? Everyone's chill? Cool, okay. So I'm gonna start things off with this. Oh, you know what? I have to plug my computer in, so just a moment. Sorry, that's like super bad timing. Very underwhelming. Way to ruin the build. Okay. All right, let's see here. The edge is everything in poetry because it's what you lean against. The infinity you lean your line against, which is also why so many poets are crazy. Better at romance than sustenance, better at ecstasy than daily life. Overcoming the end of the line is a way to face death. Facing death is a spiritual discipline any person can train in. Delaying the apotheosis of our joy is an exponential art. I found this hard to write because I don't use porn, and because the notion of watching is incommensurate to my action. To behold paralyzes. I am not a watcher. I came here to live. Not doing what I desire makes me completely insane. There is a sense by which Paul Celan's imperative to keep yes and no unsplit can be understood as a sexual axiom. I have lost my appetite for radical disclosure. Backing away from that edge. I don't want my lovers to read this. And what I write about them, I have resolved to write to them from now on. Okay, I couldn't keep to that. I'm breaking the fourth wall here. I failed. This is how I felt back in January. Okay, what? I don't want my lovers to read this, and what I write about them, I resolved to write to them. Okay, fine. I called bullshit on myself. The old days of writing to anyone are over. Failed. I and you are the sovereigns of my direct address. Well, that sounds nice, doesn't it? We'll see. Look, it's not exactly privacy I'm advocating for, but I need to learn what it feels like to have writing not feel like a betrayal of either myself or my beloved. That edge has stimulated my desire for too long. Love is more important than any song, even small love, even strange love, any love, love in any form, leaning like a frail line against the immensity of it's not happening, because love always leans against that immensity, plunging you to the bottom of the universe where you might never have met, where the brief ocean of truth you create together is replaced by endless lies, approximations, infinitesimally capitalistic substitutions. And I wish to a realm without versions. I wish for a realm without versions. By naming it love, never speaking of it again, I may be too late, but I wish to protect it. I wish to protect it. There is a brute terrain no one can gain permission to enter. You simply go there if you have the guts, and many do not survive. Where some of us are driven to our work goes by many names. Let us call it, for the purposes of this poem, the edge. There are songs and stories about living on the edge, postcards from the edge, etc. It is not a static place, it is mobile. It is not an easy place. The work there is unsalaried, but also untaxed. This work should not be legitimized or made safe. I would not make it safe. In respecting your desire to go there, I would never domesticate it for you. It is a place where a certain kind of doom transacts with greatness and generally dies without glory. Nevertheless, there's a reason Google set up shop on Venice Beach on top, seriously, basically on top of the tweakers and beach bums. The tweakers and beach bums were the unpaid researchers, the R&D of contemporary consciousness. Now that their experiments have been absorbed into the data sets of behaviorists and white psychonauts, Google should pay them a pension. Always at the outer rim, the perimeters of the known, or at the dark end of the street, you'll find at least one poet. We don't all have sex with whom we're supposed to. Some of us are no longer willing to sing of it because the cheap reprisal anything attracts does not seem worth the magic of our song. But because we are born singers, we still find a way to hide our music under the awning, under the lip of this culture's most deafening, boner-killing products. We will hide our song while night feeds and feeds on our faces. Lust and romance and the intensity of poets overcoming the dread of the end of their line, the dread of the end of their lust, the dread of the end of their vision will occasionally resolve into a sedentary poet writing virtuous novels and enjoying the bourgeois comforts. The edge play of reckless youth metamorphosed into prose, which is more sustainable, i.e., it neither lives on the edge of death formally, nor are its insights marginal to the culture any longer. Prose is the tillage of what poetry lives on the edge to discover. To the great poets who manage respectable novels that do not back away in disgust from what the abyss has shown them, we say, you are few, and we honor you. To the lost and imperiled souls who still kill themselves for love, oceanic feeling, or who bargain sustenance against the magic of 1 hour, 1 evening, 1 feeling, 1 night, we say, we salute you. People who have been to the edge and back have an elasticity about them. We too wish to be so elastic. And to the young, we wish to say, for now I am speaking for me and the 4 people in the house where I now type this for you. I am asking you to be brave. The more we learn about our comfort, the more we will try to use it as a buttress to mystery. But the more we learn about ourselves, the braver we will have to be. Mystery is nothing finite. As we expand, so it will. The edge will change location. It is not for everyone. If it is for you, bless yourself before you enter. I don't want you watching someone else's bliss. I want you overcoming your own dread for completion and yearning to have already become some kind of object or product. Seek intimacy, deep intimacy with your own experience. Please. Aww. It's really good training in like the negative space when you can't hear and see and touch. It really is. It's like psychic samurai training. Anyway, you guys okay? We good for 2 more? Just 2 more. Okay. Alchemy forever. These poems have numbers that break up the sections, but I just have this thing where like I can't like physically stand to read the numbers, so I'm not. Yeah, right. Thank you, Sarah. I'm like, you like felt what I was saying before I even said it, which is very, very spooky. I dig it. All right. Alchemy forever. You guys can hear me all right? Cool. Touching my own face in my own fucking bedroom. Ain't nobody gonna stop me. I had an experience of a country, which is a place on planet Earth of wild beauty to which no word in the English language can accurately be appended. It was a romance that I was taken into, which made me wild and humbled me beyond all speech. A legend that grew into facts, ravages of ravages I doubt I will ever be able to speak to. I knelt in love, I crawled for love. I too had had dreams of revolution. But I would not pretend to powers that lord and lady I lacked. There are histories of magic speech that should not be written down. Look, I was a woman with a problem. I did not come all this way to deceive you. It was a problem I could not resolve. And because my problem was unsolvable, I was shown miracles. Impossible things were shown to my naked eye, as if to say, the resolution of your problem is not the purpose of your errand. Your problem produces heat in you. Intolerable heat you have converted to prayer. And I, girl, am the issue of your prayer. Woman, I am the issue of it. But it was not your prayer that made me. After my ex, my darling, and I had talked and couldn't communicate because a sugary form of narcissism had crisped all over everything we said, like candy on a halo. Old candy you'd have to suck a long time or bite to get through, and I had lost my appetite for this adult candy of my condition and your condition and my worth and your worth, as the great telescope of obscurity peeped the immensity of garbage that is the product of the loneliness of the hungry adults of Earth. After my ex, my darling, my sweetheart, and I had failed to get through to one another, an online course led by a sexy hostage negotiator was advertised to me. And while I packed and went about my pre-holiday duties, I listened to 3 or 4 videos of him talking. He has a lazy eye I find troublingly alluring. The way he pronounces hostage is unique. Every time he says the word, he says it like hostage. The way when someone is hot, people sometimes lean very hard on the start of the word so that its heat seems almost the arousing phenomenon singed by the H itself. Sometimes I think the phoneme ha, but is phoneme the word for this? Has something to do with the heart of God. Ha! It's the syllable that restored virility to the body of Abraham. Sometimes I think it's the joke behind Harvard. Did you know hardly anything is known about John Harvard? Well, he does look handsome as a statue. A bust of him loomed on a high mantelpiece under which I watched Bernadette Mayer and Fanny Howe discuss money. How in their youth they and their friends never cared about it, and how in those days doing things for the money was unheard of. I used to think you could live without money, said Bernadette. You can't. Since I can't get away, I'll change or something. This won't be my favorite poem in the whole world. Telephone opened in early 2009, just after the financial crisis. Now makes a decade, one Obie's a sold-out run, and that year was also my first time teaching poetry. My job was Holloway Poet at UC Berkeley, therefore what's ending is my first decade of full adulthood. This was the turning of the year. When success-type things were first being offered me, I found it hard to grasp. My inclination was to run, and frankly, it still is. There's a stack of electric feelings sitting on these 10 years that is also sitting on your stack of years that makes it feel unlike any other 10 years that I've lived, that I've ever tried to take a good, honest look at. It has to do with a sensation of having fought lovingly to behold, notice, apprehend, and adore what lived through me all this time, while having also often found myself more like a specimen under surveillance by me myself in partnership with outside forces to which I had never given my consent, even though I signed the terms and conditions and all the privacy policies, all only apparently benign and never neutral. I was as a drop of pond water pressed between rectangles of glass. It feels weird to try and say what mattered most to me during these years. The facts we move through are the outcome, I guess, and we avert our eyes from most of them, of what we felt. But I want so desperately to be human. And the longing in me to keep the best of the truth secret from you is also strong. And yet I so dearly want to know you. Continual surveillance is its own kind of feeling, coupled with the catastrophes in the lives of many of the people I've loved best. There's a hellacious ethics to no escape. I have liked to lose myself in labor. Apart from loving, the pleasure of disappearing into people even more fucked up and always more beautiful than me. What a relief. The idea of flight or perpetual motion is what I'm trying to speak of, which in a novel would be the form called picaresque. How to keep moving while abjuring the notion of escape. I didn't take refuge in some Berlin. I felt it my duty to be American because I don't know how to be, and because the very thought of it hurts me. But if I'm going to be here enjoying as I can my great complicity with you and billions of us, and what won't let us live, my heart, I can at least sober up this poem. The eye of things is everywhere. I had to run through the culture to get beyond it. There was no way to get around it. The day after Christmas, I was walking down Warren Street eating a pear. I was thinking about Dylan Thomas and his despair, and the despair that is a vitamin to me, though I hate to admit it. "Hi, Ariana," said an elegantly smiling person in a long black faux fur and slim black choker. "You don't know me, but I love your work. Keep it up." The person smiled at me and I smiled and said thank you and nice to meet you, and then we both kept walking and I finished my pear. The irony was I had just started writing this poem, and that was that very second thinking, I have got to stop, this shit will fucking kill me. These heroics, living so desperately, letting my ex not let go of me, secretly never letting go of my loves, caring so much in secret for my poem, secretly adoring more than I can say, trusting only these lines, trusting almost nothing real. Now it is tomorrow and I am editing this. I just awoke from a dream. In it, I was a little boy. Laughing inside myself, I dove to the ocean floor. When I got there, I realized I did not know how to swim. I vaguely heard the adults far above me through a density of water as heavy as 10 years. I awoke with a gasp. My chest hurt. It still hurts. Some years ago, I confided in Cecilia Vicuña when we read together at Princeton, and I was a good 5 years into full-on wrecking myself for art, that I thought my career might be killing me, which anyone could see just by looking at me. Then you are probably right, she said gently, for Cecilia Vicuña speaks very gently. And she said, I have been there myself, and it's a good thing you know it, because now you can save yourself. It's not so much my career I have to save myself from now, but something bigger, deeper, the internalized companion of algorithmic despair, which I am not alone with and which can kill while simultaneously, and I'm about to quote Rilke, serenely disdaining to destroy us. Nothing escapes judgment here below. If not of our fellows with their AR-15s or the police with their guns, then a mass-produced internal fascist of self-betterment, which froths with unbeloved life force I'm not in the mood to make good on, even if there's no running away from the stars, or there and our velocity, or night itself, which we've almost slain for endless day. I feel I have moved so fast, so slow, only to make enough of a hash of things that now on the threshold of the symmetrical year, I only want to live. I don't know as I can do that without poems, but I might. Not prove you worthy of my love, or render myself worthy of, as and to God, or transubstantiate our longing to be good, or tender to you my heart in exchange for slender and fattening money, beating out the secret immensities of my own private religion in the wide open, borderless Zion of our collective toil. Okay, are you guys okay? Are you good for one more? One more and then it's all over. All right. I just gotta get it to show here. Just disappeared. Anyone have anything they need to like say while I look for this? Sorry. Hang on. You know when something will just disappear? Okay, here we go. Okay, in order to read this, I can't see you at the same time, so you can all play Looney Tunes for each other and I won't know. The wind and the singer had to pass through her heart. Oh wait, I need to tell you one thing really quick about this, and I have to look at you to tell you it. So okay, you guys can still hear me, yeah? I was thinking about how I wrote this about 3 weeks ago now, and I've been writing a lot, but I haven't finished anything. This is the only thing that's kind of close to finish. It's not quite there, but it's closer. But I was thinking about the fact that I was thinking about great singers, those great voices, and how there's this something really fascinates me about singing is that you can't, and it's sort of true of all music in general, like you can't repress your heart and be good at music. This is not possible. It will suck. And if you're in a space of a kind of suffering that you can't quite open yourself to, if you can't have your heart open, you can't do it. It just won't work. And I think that's something so dangerous and so beautiful about music. And I was thinking about how sometimes when a voice is so sincere and so great and so strong, I have the impression that it can carry billions of souls across the abyss. You know? Like, I fucking have not seen the Aretha Franklin documentary because I bawled my face off in the preview. Like the minute she opened her mouth. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Or somebody like Whitney Houston, I think she died of a broken heart. I think singers do because they open their mouth and all our pain flies in and they carry us across. And there's something about that that is so sacred that I just want to bow down to it. And even though I can't sing, and even though I haven't got much of a voice, I want to be that true. I want so dearly to be that true. So I'm going to read you this poem with all of its flaws now. And one of the things the poem does is it will report on someone else's pain, and I want to be clear that that's not my pain to tell. I tried to be careful with it, but I'm not positive I get it right. And so, yeah. All right, here comes. The wind and the singer had to pass through her heart. I saw two robins playing out my window. I don't know how to write. I don't know how to tell the truth to you. In light like this, white as a dish, the wind and the singer had to pass through her heart. The thought he won't call is the most boring idea in the world. Moving from room to room, I thought, the thought you won't call is a brain-damaging thought. The wind and the singer had to pass through her heart. I couldn't watch the Aretha movie. I was sobbing from the first note in the preview. And I had so many things to tell you, but now that I'm here, I don't know how. Jolted by the sound of my housemate unclamping the door, the smell of her body, burnt hair, and spiced cooking, finches screaming just like I remembered. Finches like a mother and father from Massachusetts fighting. My brother told me my mother asked to stay the night. He said no. I said no and walked away, he texted me. A familiar blank exhaustion unfurled in the back part of me. In the nether part of every cell in me, the lights went out. I wanted to lie down. I wanted to go to sleep. I consoled myself with a simpler thought. He won't call, I thought, moving from room to room. I texted my brother a red heart. What more could I say? He told me he gave her more of the supplies I had sent, adult undergarments, alcohol wipes, gloves, masks. A few days earlier, she had written me an email. I am guzzling vodka, she reported cheerfully, believing that in this way she can disinfect her throat and lungs. And I spray Lysol and wait 15 seconds before sitting down on any toilet. I don't know how to tell you these things. Report them. They're like a face that won't even fit on itself. A face like a dinner plate whose contents are sliding off upon the palm of a distracted waitress 5 hours into her brunch shift, who can only think one thought: he won't call. She may yet turn out to be a poet. I am not, as they say, in a space to make earnest pronouncements about our predicament. I repress the death in me called my mother, guzzling her vodka and spraying her Lysol. And when I go to CVS to MoneyGram her, I get hot under my mask and resentful. I hate her for having done this to me my whole life. I still remember the day she tried to sell me pantyhose. There is poverty, and there is the system. There is mass death, and there are its children. My mother was once a magnificent woman. The wind in the singer had to pass through her heart. A friend told me this morning of something bad that happened to her yesterday while she and another poet were giving a reading on Zoom. Someone showed a baby crying, and then the crying baby filled the screen, and then certain parts of a man were shown. And then he used those parts to rape that baby. This is what my friend told me she saw. This is what was shown to my friend, a poet, as she tried to read her poems on Zoom last night. Later this morning, as I thought about this poem, I wondered if what she was shown was really done live, or if the person seeking to do harm was showing a recording. Because when I mentioned what had happened to another friend in Europe, she had used the word porn, an inadequate, inaccurate word for this kind of harm. But it was my friend's use of this inadequate word that made me realize I don't know if the person really did those things, and that I felt slightly comforted thinking it had been a recording. And I did not like that this thought of it having been a recording that shattered my friend last night made me feel a little calmer. When my friend told me what she told me, I began to cry. I think I'm going to vomit, I said, but I did not vomit. We have to pray, I said. Dazed, I sat there in bed, typing words to her on Instagram. Misery, I typed, and evil, destitution, and death. My father hurt me when I was little, my friend told me. He hurt me like that. I had not known that. She had the feeling she had been targeted for her feminism. You must not think this was about you, I said. This had nothing to do with you, I pleaded with her. You must not internalize it. You must not take it personally. You must not let this evil inside you. I said these things and others I perhaps should not have said. And she said other things too. Rape is an attempt to destroy the soul, I said. Even the angels did it to Eve. I said this and still other things, and I should have been quiet. I think I said that we come to this planet to fight for our soul. All souls, said my friend. All souls, I agreed. Ariana, she said, I have to go. She said she would take a bath and cook a tagine. We had commiserated on the danger of asceticism and our taste for it. We had agreed that we must continue to be kind and playful, warm and alive, and to guard against the severity of Simone Weil, and to guard against the severity of Weil's sorrow. Will you write about it? I had dared to ask. I don't know, said my friend. I let her go. The wind in the singer had to pass through her heart. The wind in the singer had to pass through her heart. The wind in the singer had to pass through her heart. The wind in the singer had to pass through her heart. How can I tell you what happened? It should have been something I could face. The last time I saw my mother, it was Christmas. And even though I have seen everything, it was a degradation I simply could not see any further. And I could not see it again. I just couldn't see it. My brother has been seeing it, and I believe it has damaged him permanently. I cannot look at her. I cannot face her. I can no longer take her hand. Not because of the virus, and not because of the law, but because she forsook herself day by day and year by year for 20 years and for 30 years and breath by breath and doggedly, and now it is too late for me. Must it be, wrote Beethoven inside his 16th string quartet. It must be, he wrote. The wind in the singer had to pass through her heart, so the singer could not betray her heart. A beggar like me can make no such sound. A liar like me can make no such sound. My biggest fear, said a friend, is that this will end before we learn our lesson. Another friend who lived through the AIDS crisis said, no, honey, we never and will never learn our lesson. But I tried to tell him this could be different, that my life was patently better now than it was before, that I would never go back to the old way, that I know how much of my soul I had given away, and I know what has become of us. And I am a woman who left her mother to rot, and I dared to go to Harvard as though that could wash me. I knew it would never wash me. I came because it sounded romantic, and I believed that it would calm me, and it did calm me. I am no saint. I'm not even a very good woman, and lately I've been happier than I have ever been. I'm simply less of a liar, and I'm gentler with the brute truth, and I'm simpler in the pursuit of my errand. And I'm not a great singer. I'm not even a singer at all. God attacking our lungs. I do love the birds.
You can clap.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything to add, Jason?
No, thank you. That was wonderful.
My God.
Um,
Yeah.
No, but
these,
the host unmuted everyone, so I thought I was.
yeah, we're all unmuted. We can hear everyone. Joan, to mute you again.
Probably, yeah.
But yeah, no, that was wonderful. Thank you so much. What a way to go out. What a
Yeah.
final reading for the spring season.
We're hoping this is the last time we do this, but honestly, that was really brilliant. Both of you guys were just amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, I don't know if anybody here uses Instagram, but I don't know if you're still doing it, Ariana, but I've seen a couple of your IG lives. So
Oh, thanks. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, we're doing Joe Brainerd. If you wanna get into I Remember with me, I'll be starting I Remember. I'll be I Remembering. Beginning with the new moon on Friday until the full moon June 5th on weekdays.
I noticed, like, I feel like it's like daytime television or something. What time are you on?
Yeah, it's totally soap opera style.
Yeah, yeah.
9:30 a.m. EST.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Everybody should check it out. Get on Instagram if you're not. It's probably at Ariana, right? So, but anyway.
Ariana, I'm excited. Am I unmuted here?
You are unmuted. Yeah.
Yeah. So Ariana, I'm really excited you're doing that because I wrote a 25-page I Remember poem and I just had 3 pages of it published.
Oh yeah, I saw.
Oh, was
yeah,
it?
one of the people in our group was like, Ruth Lefson has this new I Remember, and they totally threw it up on our private exclusive Facebook. That
So much fun to do.
totally.
I'm leaving.
Okay, bye, Katie.
Bye, Katie. Bye-bye.
I have to
That-
go to my squash now, or I'm gonna fall down, even though I'm already on the floor.
Yo, thank you to both of you. That was a really amazing reading. That was probably of the Zoom readings we've had. I don't know. It was really arresting. It seems like you both did a really, I don't know, fantastic job, focused and interesting and cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is that Nicholas Adamski?
Is
I
it
think it
Nicholas
is.
Adamski?
It is, yeah.
Oh, hello.
Oh.
That's okay, right? Like I was also
Yeah.
invited. Is that one of
Yeah,
those-
yeah, yeah.
Everyone's
no,
invited.
totally.
Yeah, no, we have all kinds of celebrity
Nick
sightings.
Adamski.
Malachi Black is here, and Anthony
Yeah.
Yakovlev is here, and yeah, no, Laura Kronk is here, like Sarah Sarai is here. We have a star-studded. We have been a Don Yordi. We have been quite the poetry
Wallet full of
crew
$100 bills.
Wallet full of
yes.
$100 bill. Exactly, yeah.
Yes, we've been our audiences have been wallets full of $100 bills.
And look, we're hoping this is the last one of these that we have to do like this, obviously. But either way, maybe we throw we don't have to pull up the whole thing, Jason. I'll just put it. Anybody who uses Venmo
Oh, thank you.
can just at Dennis Wojcik. He owns KGB Bar and anything, because I know that they really, really are struggling with this, obviously. So if anybody wants to just throw them a few bucks, whatever you tip if you were there tonight, that kind of thing. And we're hoping it's not to say that like that saves the bar or whatever, but we
It
wanna do our
does.
part. Yeah,
It's part of saving the bar. Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
it's part of saving our economy.
But yeah, boy, great night. Yeah, thanks,
So,
Ariana.
all of the spring readings will be up on the KGB website, and we're going to figure out the way to get them to you. So once we have all of those kind of looked at and figured out, I hope you're all on the mailing list. If you're not on the mailing list, I guess go ahead and just email me or email Matt. Matt, do you want to, you're the one who keeps the email address.
Yeah, that would be great. The email address, it needs a little bit of, it needs some weeding and some seeding. I mean, there's a lot of, just the physical equivalent would be just, dead mailbox at the end of country lanes that are just, like stuffed with stuff.
863 missed emails.
Yeah, I send out the blast and I immediately get like 85, replies from, like, I don't know. I have been away from my desk since 2005, and I just ignore them indefinitely. And
So Matt, if people aren't on the mailing list, what email should they send to you to get on it?
they should send an email to my last name Yeager.Matthew at gmail.com, and then I can just copy and paste the email into the email blast list, and and it's a good list. There are some really good poets on it, and and we take a line and kind of put it cryptically in the subject line, and we had the first line from Ariana's poem "Old MacDonald Had a Farm," and Megan Jimenez started it. The practice, and Megan really was just an amazing curator and the most organized curator that we've had until Jason. And John,
Organization is not usually a noun.
Write an introduction faster than anyone, save for David Lehman. And David Lehman would just be like, "Oh, a black diamond, I'll just ski it polisly." And, his ability to just kind of, it was like watching somebody hang glide without a hang glider. You're just like, this defies, logic. He would just formulate whole paragraphs about people's work and remember very specific, details of their work and then generate an introduction. But we can't do that. John,
I know you didn't call me disorganized.
So.
I know you didn't call me disorganized. That was...
I called myself and you.
Yeah, the combination.
In need of...
The metaphor for me and Matt Yeager running the series was the two outfilders who let the ball drop in the middle of them. Kind of like...
or collide.
And then even after it's sitting there, we still don't know who's going to pick it up. Like,
the stars and the birds
would like, didn't collide.
Yeah.
Fly around that.
Exactly. Sometimes you need a
so,
Jason or a Megan.
So if you're not getting the emails from us, make sure that you email Matt and get yourself on that email list. We'll keep posting on all the social medias. Jada Gordon, our social media intern, can't be here right now, but she'll be back with us in the fall. And all of these readings from the spring are going to be archived. So if you want to use those in your classes, if you want to have platonic ideals for how reading series should be run. You have those right there in front of you. And we'll be back on September 7th with, is that David Thomas Martinez in the list?
Yeah.
Okay.
And hang out a while, Jason. I feel like you can give these announcements, but can we continue to hang out a while?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely.
sure. Okay. I would love to see Malachi again. I could see his name there still, but there he is.
Yeah. Malachi, can you turn on your camera? Sorry, that's my teacher voice.
Yeah.
Can you turn on your camera?
We want to know you're really.
That's what I sound like. Hi.
And do you have a list who's reading in the fall?
We do. It's not quite finalized yet, but it's pretty close.
We haven't been booking as actively as we have in other seasons because with everything going, I was about to use the colloquialism "tits up," but with everything going sort of, so in I like continuity, and when I don't know what's going to happen, it makes me crazy. And so I haven't been booking because it's not a good place for me to book from. But for
We
the
have
fall,
we do have some bookings. Yeah.
for the
There
fall,
will
we have
come a day.
One
There will
reason,
come a day in September when
We
you
have-
suddenly get 10 Facebook invites from Matthew Yeager, one
Yes.
after another, for every reading, and
oh,
you will know everything.
yeah.
All will be revealed.
So right
That's
now
the
we
new
have
that's the new social media strategy is when Matt creates all the events.
we have David Thomas Martinez, we have Richard McCann and Jody Bolts and Star Black. We have David Baker and Paige Hill Starzinger, Lynn Sachs and Paolo Javier, Jonathan Lee, Anne-Marie Fife and Tom Slay, Hannah Gamble, Suzanne Wise, who I'm very excited about because it's been a long time since her last book, but she does really interesting work. Not sufficiently well known and someone you really want to pay attention to. Jeffrey Harrison, Owen Lewis, Matthew Thorburn, Sarah Gutowski. And in fact, there's a little note here that I booked her while I was drunk, but she's extremely talented. Slappering Hole Press with Amy Lemon, Elaine Equi and Jerome Sala,
yay.
Fiona J. Lorraine and Nate Krug. And we did remember this time to leave space for the post-Thanksgiving open mic.
Nice.
Elaine was in my neighborhood reading just yesterday, but without
Cheers.
Jerome. She read a poem about him, though.
Yeah, she's amazing.
See, one reason I ask is it looks like I'm going to be teaching online again a poetry workshop in the fall, and it would be fun to show some of these.
Absolutely.
through
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
I'm going to stop recording actually. And the other thing I was